Good afternoon, everyone. It's Thursday, May 10th, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We have the SPY bulls on fire today all day. Definitely looked like programmed buying for multiple hours this morning. Some consolidation, but all we had to do was look to the hourly time frame and see that it is pretty much the same thing as yesterday. Could tell that it started the day very similar to yesterday, so anticipated that the hourly RSI would be too high for us to see continuation, so we would look for some healthy consolidation. We hit the top yesterday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, hit it at 1:30 today, but very similar consolidation, and the bulls are buying the dip at this point, and we are closing strong. As of right now, that is. And if the bulls can get over 272.15 before the end of the day, they'll be looking really good. So on the daily time frame, we had a very key break for SPY, daily and weekly time frame. Breaking key resistance today, SPY hit the highest price that we've seen since March 21st, so about 7-week highs, and we look at the weekly time frame and we broke the lower high pattern. So the next resistance on the weekly chart, we're looking up in the mid 270s and the upper 270s, and the bulls now significantly shifted the odds of a potential bull break for the second half of 2018 with this move. And at this point, in order to change that back to the bears taking the lead, we're going to have to break the low of 259.05, which we are currently well above. There is not a ton of bull volume behind this move. We definitely have to keep noting that, but we have seen this market run many, many times on very low volume, pretty much including the entire year of 2017. So lots of signs to be watching, but price action is very clear. We have broken resistance, and we have, since the dump in March and April, now we have a longer term higher low and higher high on this recovery. The dollar is confirming the bearish reversal candlestick from yesterday. We're watching key support of 92.35 to see if that level can hold. As far as the 4-hour chart is concerned, no big red flags, just healthy consolidation. The daily RSI was very overextended, and we were just patiently waiting for this. Gold bulls seeing the move today, getting over resistance thanks to dollar weakness. We've got a little higher low and a higher high, but looking at the weekly time frame for gold for the longer term, we're at a base of pretty much double bottom at 1300 and multiple tops at 1360, the low 1360s. That's the range to be watching on gold. We've been within this range all of 2018, and there's a $60 range that we're looking for a clear break in to give more clarity on this gold chart, which has been pretty choppy while it's within this range. Oil bulls, we're actually seeing a bearish reversal candlestick today, so we have to zoom in. 4-hour time frame, new key support set, so we know that if we break this level of 70.54, we will see daily consolidation, but overall, bulls still holding on strong. That's our new key support to be watching tomorrow, 70.54. Bull reaction to the inventory report for the natural gas bulls today. Energy sector is going to be on fire if we can get over 2844 and see the natural gas bulls join the oil bulls. That will be significant for the energy sector. So we are approaching a key resistance level, and next week we could be looking to test it, 2844, 2873. And if we look at NG on the weekly time frame for natural gas, or actually UNG, we can see we're in a tight pattern and we're close to a bull break. 23.18 and 23.37 have to break for these bulls. So it's getting real interesting for natural gas now. It's been a snooze fest for a long time, but we're getting close here. Could see a potential break in the next few days, even if the bulls can keep up this momentum. 4-hour RSI, not too overbought. We could consolidate and see continuation. Oversold bounce on cryptocurrency is currently playing out. Bitcoin dumping down. We saw the 5-minute and the 15-minute RSIs get really overextended, down in the teens for the 5-minute and down at 20 for the 15. So we saw a short-term bounce, and I was scaling into positions in ETH. I exited about 20-25% of my position on that weak bounce attempt just to protect against the potential of a bear flag. I will add to the rest of my ETH if we see Bitcoin drop to a lower low, anticipating that Bitcoin is going to hit hourly oversold RSI if we do drop down into the low $9,000 range. So I will be looking to add. At this point, I still have maybe 45% cash now that I took a little bit of profit. And what that did, when you take profit on a short-term bounce, I'm protecting against the potential of the RSI cooling off and then seeing continuation down, which is exactly what we're seeing. And it also lowers my cost basis for when I'm break even on the trade. So if my average was 737 before I took profit, now my average is probably in the upper 735s, so it gives me some more comfort. So here's Bitcoin looking to confirm the bear flag with another move down, and the hourly RSI right now is at 32, and we scroll back historically, where have we been bouncing over the last month plus, and it's right in the upper 20s or right at 30. News with the Mt. Gox funds being moved around, the potential reason for this dump, it certainly looks like it, could lead to the RSI getting a little bit more extreme, but I am comfortable with the 4-hour time frame forming a higher low for Bitcoin compared to 8,960 on this move down, unless things get extremely oversold on the hourly time frame. So I will be looking to add to ETH, as ETH is testing the low as well with BTC. And Litecoin, also very weak, looking down at the low. Litecoin's not getting much love recently because it hasn't been giving much opportunity, but we have a clear equilibrium on the 15-minute for Litecoin coming down to test support as well. I'm going to change some orders real quick to see if I can get some more ETH on continuation down. So bear with me one moment. All right, let's get into some daily and weekly setups. And we'll start it off with PHOT, or PHO.TO, which isn't a ticker. I'm not sure which ticker PHOT is the US ticker. I don't have good memories of this stock. I've been watching this one for 8 years. Remember it getting halted and everybody losing all their money. So support is down at 19.5 and 18.5. Resistance, we've got multiple daily inside bars forming, and that's what we're watching right now. But this is a known scam company. And maybe they've gotten their act together in the last couple of years, but just look at a weekly chart. And we were up at 77 cents, and we dropped down to 0.003 cents because it was delisted. It was investigated by the SEC. There was a whole lot of junk going on. So definitely want to be cautious with that one. RTI.TO, or is that V? Canadians giving me the wrong exchanges. What kind of Canadians are you? RTI.V is a weak bounce attempt. 110 and 107 followed by $1 are the next supports. We continue to reject from the daily exponential resistances. You can see we haven't closed above it in weeks, and we just keep getting rejected. So what does that look like on the 4-hour time frame? We made a solid bull move, but we gave it all back. So that is a red flag. It looked like the start of the bounce was getting going, but most of it being erased with some pretty high bear volume at this point. Tesla on the daily time frame, rejecting from the upper Bollinger Band yet again. This makes the third time in the last couple of days. It's a bearish reversal candlestick at this point, so we need to see what the hourly time frame looks like. Must hold support is 304.11. If we lose that level, we're looking down at 345 cents, so we'll call it 300 psychological. We are shifting some momentum with this bearish reversal candlestick. The daily chart has been bullish for 5 days in a row, so it might be time to consolidate, and we will look to establish a higher low on the daily. The key level short term will be 300. If the bulls can hold 300, we're looking really good on this consolidation on the daily. If we lose 300, we could see, another $5 to $10 a downside depending on what the bear volume looks like. I'm going to keep checking in on Bitcoin and Ethereum while I'm doing this. Amazon is a bearish reversal doji. It's been notable the last 2 days that Amazon has not benefited from SPY strength. And after about a month where Amazon was benefiting significantly from SPY strength with a strong correlation there, it is notable the last 2 days that it has not been able to perform. And Google has been performing. It's almost like the buying has stopped in Amazon and it's shifted over to Google as Google needs to catch up as the main tech laggard that we've been watching recently. And we're looking at support on Amazon, again, always to the hourly. Inside bars on the hourly currently forming. Things are getting tight, it looks like. 15-minute time frame. We got a very tight pattern here on Amazon into the end of the day. So break is imminent. Might not happen today, though, if we run out of time. But I'm looking at a wider range of 16.0534 and 16.0960 as a range I'm watching. But a really nice tight 5-minute pattern. If this were, mid to late morning, this would be an ideal setup to be watching. Just might run out of time here. MEG.TO breaking out, closing up near the high of the day above the upper Bollinger Band, looking really good for continuation. No red flags for the bulls at this point, and a lack of resistance nearby. So checking the hourly here to see where the last higher low was established. We haven't established a higher low recently, so 8 psychological would be the first support. And we are not at all-time highs. So the next resistance is going to be up at 9 psychological. We are getting overbought on the weekly. The daily RSI is up over 80, so definitely at some extreme levels. No bullish entries up at these levels if not already in positions, but no reason to sell if already in positions. And can be looking for some signs of weakness for some consolidation in the near-term future, but not today. PCG is a potential bear flag. We did break the inside bar bullish, and we are closing near the high of the day, but as long as these daily exponentials are resistance, the bear flag potential remains. If we lose the hourly higher low pattern on this bounce, the odds of the bear flag will increase significantly, and in terms of resistance, bulls tomorrow will have to break the high of today. There is a lack of price level resistance here, but there is certainly moving average resistance to deal with. And let's see if we can get some more detailed price resistance levels. 43.26 is a double top right now on the hourly. Triple top, essentially. So bulls have to break that level. Where am I? JNP. JNP breaking out on the daily. Trend is changed on the daily with that higher low and higher high. So the next resistance is 960, and the daily upper Bollinger Band will be in play tomorrow as well. Nice big bull volume spike. The bulls are definitely in control. Hourly higher low of support to be watching, and definitely upper Bollinger Band to be watching tomorrow if we break the high of today. But momentum shifting with volume behind it on that move. AGN also seeing a bullish day, but some profit taking mixed in there after a very strong 2-day bounce. So need some more details. Hourly time frame, higher low looking to be established, healthy consolidation considering the start of the day that we saw today. So bulls still just fine, and we will look to establish that hourly higher low. Resistance is going to be 153.76 and 154.93, and we'll have to wait for a new hourly higher low to be established, potentially tomorrow morning, as we are not done consolidating yet with the way it looks. HMNY still dumping. It is a falling knife. Because it is a penny stock, this is telling me that there is absolutely convertible debt and dilution going on where everybody is dumping here and still profiting. If I lend a company $1 million and they give me shares that are valued 30% below the current market price, I can dump a lot of shares for a profit. And we're hitting all-time lows right now. It's just a race to it's a burning building with a race to the exit. We will see a bounce, but we're not ready yet. Every time we close at the low of the day, that shows us where momentum is. So it's worth watching for a bounce because there will be an easy 20%, I shouldn't say easy, there will be a 20% opportunity when we bounce. The 20% will be the easy part. The timing is not the easy part. But as long as we keep closing at the low of the day, the way that these bounces usually play out is exactly how we saw MYM play out yesterday. We see a weak close the day before. We know we're getting close to a climax and a turnaround. And the bears push it down in the first 30, 60 minutes of trading, get one final flush, and then a complete 180 turnaround, and bulls start to buy that dip and give us a bullish reversal candlestick on the daily. So I will never make an entry if we're closing near the low of the day, knowing that market makers love that one last bearish push the next morning before trying to turn that trend around. So that's worth watching tomorrow, and I'm actually going to write it down now. In terms of a play to watch tomorrow. But the last thing you want to do is be, if someone tried to get in at $1 yesterday, they're down 40% on their position if they didn't use stop losses. That's a huge loss in one day trying to time this falling knife. So again, you have to be very cautious with this kind of play. It requires a lot of experience. I absolutely suggest paper trading these kind of oversold bounces for a while until you get more comfortable, because it's a great way to get back a lot of money real quick. FSLR. FSLR, nice bull move, entering an area with a lack of resistance. Definitely getting a little overextended with 5 green days in a row and a gap up today, but we are still holding hourly higher lows. Our new support, 72.40. Bulls want to hold that level. If we lose it, the higher lows will be lost, and we'll look for daily healthy consolidation. So tomorrow we'll be watching the high of today, $74, and 72.40 as support. APH bearish reversal candlestick today, topping out after 3 solid bull days in a row. The bulls are liking the lack of bear volume. It's very low volume. We're going to look to pull back and form a higher low on this daily chart. And the bulls are hoping for the psychology of a cup and handle pattern with the inability to break resistance, healthy consolidation, and then continuation, which would be best case scenario for the bulls. But we're in consolidation mode, no red flag with volume. Bull volume far outweighing bear volume. Just healthy consolidation. GOOG bull break today, getting over 1094. So we now have a bull break on the weekly time frame for Google as it tries to catch up to its friends in the tech sector. Low, high of the bounce, higher, low, higher, high. Lack of resistance. There's a gap to fill at 1132. Definitely worth watching for continued strength in Google. Google's been the strongest tech name. Well, I guess Apple takes the lead today, but Google's been strong 2 days in a row, notably. And we'll see if it continues playing catch-up. MU definitely will be affected by NVDA earnings. NVDA is very strong heading into earnings. Key resistance for MU, healthy weekly consolidation. Need to break 54.27 to break the lower high on that last weekly consolidation. Daily chart for MU did make a bull break over 51.39, so we are definitely shifting momentum. And when we do consolidate on the daily, we will be looking for a higher low. Need to be cautious. We have gapped up 3 out of the last 4 days in a row, so bulls getting a little overextended. And I believe that euphoria for the NVDA earnings and the correlation to NVDA is definitely playing part in that, getting so overbought. The 4-hour RSI is 80. Definitely worth, well, I mean, the reaction is going to be whatever NVDA gives us. But if we see a bull reaction to NVDA and MU follows through tomorrow, absolutely be scouting for profit taking and healthy consolidation after getting real overbought. WED still extremely tight, just being patient. Support is 29.50 and 28.76. Resistance is 30.18 and second daily inside bar in a row. So we're going to see a break of these inside bars tomorrow. And we'll see which direction it's in, but keeping in mind that WED could break both of those supports and still be a weekly equilibrium. Our weekly equilibrium support is $27. So we could pull back to $28 and still be in this tight pattern. EUS.V. Big bull move today, getting over multiple resistances, 138 and 145. We did reject from the daily upper Bollinger Band, but after 148 is 154. Let's see what this is doing to the weekly trend. Higher low and higher high on the weekly, so the oversold bounce is playing out now. Some nice space to the upside. Just might need to consolidate and form an hourly higher low. Bulls need to maintain hourly higher lows to be in control on this oversold bounce. I type in LAC and my options are LAC.TO, LAC.V, LAC. Looks like it's the LAC version. So we've got the higher low and lower high tight pattern on the daily. Support is 502, resistance is 553. Definitely watching things get real tight right now. Weekly time frame, this is definitely worth watching for a break of this tight daily pattern because this weekly chart looks real close for the bulls being ready and a bull MACD cross to go along with the bulls being ready. Key weekly resistance to break the lower highs is 590, so there's a long way to get there. But if we break these lower highs, step number 1 is breaking 553. Then we're looking up towards 590 key weekly resistance. Momentum shifting, but we do need follow through from the bulls. That's a good one to keep an eye on as well. IIPR bear break on the daily today. So a bit of a delayed reaction to the earnings. Ideally, the bulls wanted to maintain these supports in the middle Bollinger Band and obviously see blue sky breakout. But this consolidation is not doing anything long-term on this weekly chart, and it is still a potential of a cup and handle pattern where we're still forming this handle. I would say things would start to get to be red flags for the bulls if we see a break of 31.11. Bulls really want to hold that level. And the weekly middle Bollinger Band support is continuing to catch up. We held that twice on 2 touches before seeing continuation for the bulls. And 35 will be very clearly resistance going forward that we need to keep an eye on. Support is 32 and 31.11. M. So I'm on the daily time frame. Bulls bought the dip in a big way, defending support. Support was 27.94. That was a must-hold level for the weekly higher low to remain intact, and the bulls definitely defended that level, just barely. The bullish reversal candlestick. Tomorrow we need to see a break at 29.57 or whatever the high of the day ends up being, and then 30.19 will be the next resistance after that. Need to confirm this bullish reversal candlestick with follow-through tomorrow to show some solid continuation after defending that support. Twitter's a bearish reversal candlestick after 3, 6, 7 green days in a row. Big upper wick of profit taking. Bearish reversal shooting star. Hourly higher lows are still, actually that's the 4 hour. Hourly higher lows are still intact. And we've been consolidating for 6 hours in a row. So the hourly support is 32.42. The odds that we bounce before that level are more likely than not. And then set a lower high on the hourly and an equilibrium. It all depends on how the start of tomorrow goes for the tech sector and Twitter individually. SNNVF. SNNVF is dropping down. Key support is 644, and we did not break that today. This looks like a bear flag on the weekly without even looking at it. So weak bounce attempt, rejecting from exponential resistances. We lost the higher low pattern 3 weeks in a row, and we're heading down after 644. It's just the all-time low. So it is absolutely a bear flag setup on the weekly time frame, favoring the bears at this point with a lack of support, just only 2 support levels to be watching. ABX.TO. Bull flag on the daily time frame, trying to see follow through, but anything under 1759 is just a lower high. So the bulls need a higher low and then a break of the lower highs, and we actually might have just set a new lower high at 1739. Depends if we pull back. The current range is 1689 to 1739, but looking at the weekly time frame, definitely worth watching the bulls to wake up and try and follow through with this bull flag on the weekly. And middle Bollinger Band holding as support the last 3 days. CVE.TO. Pretty good day for the bulls. Lack of pullback after a bearish reversal candlestick yesterday. CVE on the hourly looks healthy. Looks like a bull flag on the hourly. Key must hold support is 1396. Resistance is 1418 and 1436. Bulls are beginning to shift momentum, but still some lower highs on the hourly that need to break. CG.TO, dumping down at the low of the day, so weak. Higher low that needs to hold is 720, so we will likely get oversold on shorter term time frames before we get down to 720. Hourly RSI is approaching oversold. 4 hours down in the 30s as well. So if we see continued weakness, definitely worth watching for a higher low compared to 720 if these other RSI levels get oversold, but there's no sign of the bulls at this point. PHO.V breakout mode. Stronger the close, the better. Weekly time frame all about 212, and we got up to 205 today. Have to break that resistance tomorrow. If we start pulling back and losing hourly higher lows without breaking 212, we will be looking for a bit of a double top on the weekly time frame, which would end up being a potential cup and handle pattern there as well, but very early on in the development. Bulls really want to just break that resistance and get it out of the way. IN.TO double top at the high of the day, and profit taking. When you can't break the high of the previous day after a big bull move where you might be looking for people to take profit, then you see that magnified profit taking. So support is 108, $1.93. Bulls need a higher low. More bear volume than the bulls would like to see. That bear volume is matching the bull volume today, or yesterday. We will need a daily higher low and a higher high to change this trend. Trend has not changed on the daily. The last real bounce attempt, I'm calling 139. Everything else was just a slow bleed. THCX.V. Seeing strength, a little bit of indecision, so I have to look into the details. Still hourly higher lows well intact. We're not going to lose them anytime soon. Last higher low was 479. Low bear volume on consolidation. So bulls in control still. Want to remain above the upper Bollinger Band as long as possible. If we cannot break 505 tomorrow and we lose the daily upper Bollinger Band, then we know some healthy consolidation is coming after the breakout. MYMMF is a bearish reversal candlestick on the daily. Big upper wick of profit taking. Shooting star. Have to look at the hourly and see if we have lost the hourly higher lows, and we have not yet. But if we break 117 tomorrow, we will. So 117 is now our key support. After 117, we're looking down towards 1 psychological. And resistance is going to be up at 135. I would be surprised if the bulls can see some continuation tomorrow. But if we do break 135, looking at 138 as the next level. This is important from Fidelity. Thanks for the update, Fidelity. Is Victoria's Secret too sexy for its own good? Gonna have to read that one later and do some research. What a dumb article to alert me to. Is Victoria's Secret too sexy for its own good? NAC.V. Double bottom the last 2 days, 67 cents. So that was a beautiful signal for a bounce. Bottom fishing level. And big time gains on these oversold bounces. Hourly chart does need some consolidation. It hasn't consolidated on this entire move up. 15-minute support is 78 cents. And this is not the kind of position, just like MYMMF. If you're already in, that's great, and it's closing strong. But if you are not in, the risk to reward is very high because we are going to set a lower high most likely. Key resistance is 88 in the short term. MRRCF. So bulls breaking the trend. Key break of 130 was a good sign, and the next resistance is up at 146. The bulls are closing strong. They're trying to build this base of support. They're off to a great start, getting the middle Bollinger Band as support. This is the first time in over 3 months this middle Bollinger Band has become support. This is a pretty good looking turnaround chart. Weekly resistance 152 is key. But let's see how long these bulls can hold this middle Bollinger Band and shift this momentum. Clear stop level would either be 118 or 114. I don't think UNG is good for options trading. I assume it's illiquid. Maybe not though, actually. Let me check real quick. Yeah, it's illiquid. You don't want to trade those. UGAZ and DGAZ are leveraged ETFs for 3 times what UNG does, common shares. Did already cover APH. Not sure if SMAV means he doesn't have live going. If someone can type in CVX, upper Bollinger Band 129.04, I'd appreciate it. ACB. Still that middle Bollinger Band. It's been rejecting this price for a month now. Support is 777, and we have to get over this middle Bollinger Band and close above it. 822 stands out the last 2 weeks as a key resistance. So 777 to 822 is the current range. Bulls aren't going anywhere unless that middle Bollinger Band becomes support. BFF.TO, healthy consolidation after the breakout, but the bulls need to turn that around tomorrow. Establish this higher low. 525, 538 are resistances. Looks like it could be a potential weekly bear flag. It is a potential weekly bear flag as long as those exponential levels are resistance, which is why the bulls need to see some bounce and some follow through here. And if we lose the daily higher low pattern, then the odds of the bear flag will increase significantly. NINE.V breaking out as well. So a lot of these Canadian MJ names that have been dumping are seeing some really nice gains from oversold bounce territory. Next resistance after 154 is up at 156 and 165. Increasing bull volume is a good sign on this move. Definitely getting a little extended. Always have to watch what the hourly RSI is. Hourly RSI is above 70, so wouldn't be looking for any bullish entries at this point. But again, if already in a position, no reason to sell. BOX breaking out, no slowdown, closing up at the high. And bulls in full control, looking for more tomorrow. Definitely need to be watching for a kind of climax to signal the temporary top. Daily RSI is 84. I'm sure the 4-hour RSI is through the roof, but no sign of slowdown yet. Buy is pretty tight, favoring the bulls still. Nobody typed in the level. Thanks, Jules. SVXY breaking out. Next resistance is 1323 and 1373. And if we can get over 1373, there is a lot of room to the upside. That's definitely worth watching. This is the dead ETF, remember, that broke. And some people have some terrible memories there, I'm sure. But it is close to breaking out, and I'd be very interesting to see how much upside the bulls can get with that lack of resistance there. Short VIX. So VIX continues to show us weakness. I mean, I couldn't hold this overnight. How can you hold something that can break like this and dump 90% in a week? But it's bullish with a key resistance approaching. BAC. Key resistance 3117. We topped out at 3107. Trying to change the trend and break the lower highs, but unable to do so just yet. The entire financial sector is in the same boat. Have to break 3117 to break the lower high on BAC. XLF 2824. It did already break its weekly lower high. So that's significant. Financial sector was in a lower high, lower low pattern. The lower highs have now broken. Trying to shift that momentum and see a bull MACD cross on the weekly so that SPY bulls can head back towards that all-time high. SQ. SQ is an indecision candlestick, key resistance all the way up at 58.46 from here. Definitely getting a little extended. What's our hourly trend look like? Still intact. Last higher low is 53.86. Bulls looking to form a higher low compared to that level and keep this uptrend in control. Very clear if we lose this uptrend. It was the same thing for the dollar. Lose this uptrend and you can be comfortable either taking profit or going bearish short term. But look at the dollar on the 4-hour time frame. Remember this trend just for weeks, higher lows and higher highs. We lost the trend and we've been pulling back now since then for the last day. So when you have a pattern that's so very clearly intact, once it breaks, can definitely use it to act on. CVX inside bar on the daily. There's another one I missed. KSHB, double bottom, 617 and 618 must hold short term. Break those levels and we'll see some healthy consolidation. But this is a strong chart. One of the highlighted USMJ plays because of its strong chart. Look at it just walk up the weekly middle Bollinger Band. And very limited resistances in these areas. Buy bulls right back to the highs. So trying to confirm that hourly bull flag real quick. Bitcoin still struggling on the 5-minute time frame. Patiently waiting to add if we get another leg down. I will add to Ethereum. Still profitable in Ethereum, well, about just above break even, where I currently stand. But plenty of cash to average down if Bitcoin wants to go for hourly oversold. Currently, hourly RSI is 33. Let's see if Amazon broke that 5-minute. I assume it broke bullish. And it did, but no follow through. Lots of bull volume and an inability to see follow through. It is notable shift that we've seen here on Amazon. BKNG doesn't look like news. Not enough volume. APRN not bearish. We have to form a higher low on the daily. We're consolidating. The top is definitely in for now, and we're going to look to form a higher low. Declining bearish volume is a good sign, but definitely closing with the potential for another down day. We'll look for a higher low to form, ideally above 230. But the double top the last 2 days, not today, but Tuesday, Wednesday, was the sign that bulls had run out of momentum, and that's when everybody took profit, seeing that the bulls could not see further upside. Litecoin's doing exactly what Bitcoin's doing. It's tight on the 15-minute time frame. It's in equilibrium. Low, high of the bounce, higher low, lower high, higher low, lower high. A break is imminent. It is definitely the weakest as it's down near the low of yesterday. And we never broke the 4-hour lower high pattern on Litecoin like we did on Ethereum and Bitcoin. So still in a clear downtrend, no bull MACD cross on the 4-hour. The other names did get bull MACD crosses on the 4-hour. It just continues to show us that it is weaker. BCH dumping as well, 15-minute RSI heading back to oversold. So BCH is confirming the bear flag to lower lows, and Bitcoin's about to as well. Hourly RSI is about to be oversold on BCH, same as Bitcoin. Hourly RSI is currently 32. And still anticipating Bitcoin's going to be able to form a higher low compared to 8,960 unless this hourly RSI is going to drop down below 25, which hasn't happened in a few weeks. So SPY bulls closing strong. We'll see if they can get some continuation into tomorrow. I'm going to be heading out tomorrow at about 11. Got to hit the road. But I'll be on for the morning live and do all the normal morning routine. ACQ is about to see another leg down. It's all bear. It's a falling knife. There's no sign of any support. It's closing at the low of the day. And it is at key support of 1722, which broke. So again, once the bounce does get going, the potential for a final morning climax push down before the bulls turn it around. Bitcoin's a double bottom at the moment. Bulls are going to have to break 9124 for that double bottom to have meaning. Oh God, Fidelity's doing it again. Alerting me twice about Victoria's Secret. Consensus 2018, I have no thoughts. The only way that the market is going to see a significant run is if there is some big time surprise news. Cron still doesn't have any bounce momentum behind it. It is still weak. We have a base of support to be watching, but if that base breaks, we're going to see another leg down, and we are not too oversold that cannot happen. Meaning that can happen. So hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.